This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, hurricane and tropical storm watches are issued for parts of the southeastern coast of Florida as Hurricane Matthew continues to wreak havoc in the Caribbean. A still Category 4 storm made landfall on Haiti this morning, bringing winds up to 145 miles an hour and devastating rainfall. It's also forcing major cruise lines to alter their routes to avoid the hurricane. Governor Rick Scott and the governor of North Carolina have already declared states of emergency.
Impacts Florida, there will be massive destruction that we haven't seen in years.
Hurricane has already taken at least 4 lives, and coming up later, we'll have a look at how local emergency management officials say you should prepare for Hurricane Matthew's potential impacts here on the Suncoast. Let's get the latest now on the storm from meteorologist John Scalzi. This is still a big, powerful storm that is, I don't think we have really a good idea yet of the impact there in Haiti, although we know it's going to be devastating in a big way.
When I saw that satellite view of the eye wall going over that tip of Haiti, it was just so sad to see, because you know the devastation there has to be really awful. And now it's got its eyes set on Cuba, possibly slightly weakened. Some of the central dense overcast, we call it, some of the eye wall has filled up a little bit with clouds, indicating maybe a slowing of rotation, but that's hard to say yet. Hurricane aircraft aren't out there sampling it at this moment, but they will be. And it's going to be a real bad storm for the United States, too. The forecast track is pretty ugly. Let's take a look right now at the watches and warnings that are up for our area. Currently, we have no watches up for our neck of the woods. Those watches were for areas back to the east of us, and they do include areas from Deerfield Beach all the way up to the Volusia County border, and not for our area. So that's really good news to see. I don't think that we will see any for our area, although we could see some tropical storm force gusts as that storm continues to lift north. Watch the center of your picture of that cloud cover there. The eye wall, very distinct in the earlier images, now kind of filled up just a little bit as it moved over those mountainous terrains of westernmost Haiti. Now on a track that'll take it toward the mountains of Cuba. It may exit Cuba a little less organized, perhaps a little less intense, but the thing is it'll move into an area very favorable for redevelopment as it moves into the Bahama Island chain. And so any kind of major decrease in intensity in this storm is just not forecast by the Hurricane Center. Oh, and by the way, we have another system out there. Nicole forecast to lift to the north and kind of meander out in the open Atlantic for a couple of days doing loop-de-loops. That one, not a big issue for us. Of course, Matthew is in terms of its effect on the state of Florida and the rest of the United States, and we'll be covering the updated forecast track from the Hurricane Center in just a moment. And look at some of the possible impacts of the storm on our weather later this week in just a few minutes, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. Now the news tonight, it's the vice presidential candidate's turn to take center stage. Republican nominee Mike Pence will be debating Democratic VP nominee Tim Kaine in Virginia, but the showdown is not expected to bring in blockbuster numbers like the presidential debate of a week ago. ABC's Maggie Rulli has a preview.
Tonight it's time for the number 2s on the presidential tickets to take the stage. And experts say we should expect to hear from 2 seasoned, polished, and very well-prepared politicians. Donald Trump's running mate Mike Pence, Indiana governor and 12-year congressman. Pence was also a radio talk show host.
How is Senator Kaine going to do tonight?
Hillary Clinton giving her VP pick Tim Kaine her full confidence. The Virginia senator and former governor worked as a Harvard-trained trial lawyer for years.
If they make a difference, they'll make a difference at the margins. But some of our elections have been decided at the margins.
They're seasoned, but not necessarily well known. An ABC News Washington Post poll found that 40% of Americans couldn't name either party's candidate. So tonight, both men have a chance to introduce themselves to Americans. Pence is feeling the pressure to clean up after what many viewed as an underwhelming debate performance by Trump last week.
Mike Pence's strategy is a little bit like a MASH unit. He has to basically put a tourniquet on, stabilize the body, and get it to the next debate.
Trump's campaign manager said on CBS viewers should expect a much feistier Pence than normal.
He'll go out there in a fiery performance.
His Democratic rival is also under the glare of the spotlight, hoping to build on Clinton's post-debate bounce in the polls, and to not let Pence off the hook for Trump's comments and policies. This means following up on Trump's taxes.
I have legally used the tax laws to my benefit.
But Hillary Clinton, campaigning in Ohio where polls show Trump is up, sees it differently.
Here's my question. What kind of genius loses $1 billion in a single year?
But both men's main jobs tonight don't mess anything up for their presidential candidates. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Farmville, Virginia.
Maggie, thank you. The VP debate starts at 9 o'clock tonight, and you can watch it right here on ABC 7. Here at home, a follow-up now on a proposed renourishment project at Lido Beach in Sarasota County. A permit could be issued by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for that project to take place. Last month, the department confirmed all necessary paperwork for the project was completed. The plan would allow 1.2 million cubic yards of sand to be dredged from Big Pass to rebuild more than 1.5 miles of beach on Lido Key. County could receive the permit within the next 60 days. Progress is being made in Manatee County for revamping an old jail into affordable housing. According to the Bradenton Herald, local developer Bernard Croghan has met the minimum requirements for his proposal. The plan is to turn the old Manatee County Jail into workforce housing apartments. Rent would range from $600 to $900. The project still has several hurdles to clear. A temporary Venice Public Library is now open to the public. The old library was closed last December over concerns for mold. And today, library officials welcomed their first guest into the Hamilton Building. That's on North Nokomis Drive on the island of Venice. For months, residents were using a small kiosk library at the Venice Community Center. Books from the old Venice Library are all cleaned and then put into their new home. Staff says they're pleased with the transition and are anxious to get things going.
It also helps us just kind of smooth out the edges of the service, the new service. So far, all has gone incredibly well.
It's nicely done.
It really is.
It's clean. It's new.
Yeah.
It's very fine.
High praise. Today was only the soft opening. The official opening day will be Thursday. The new temporary library building will be open while Sarasota County builds a new building there near the site of that old Venice Library. In Northport, community leaders and law enforcement will get together tonight. Northport Police Department hosting its 33rd annual National Night Out. The event is focused on crime prevention and the opportunity to meet and get to know Northport police officers. The event is one of the biggest in the region. It happens tonight at 6 o'clock at Northport High School. By the way, Sarasota Police will be having its National Night Out a week from tonight, next Tuesday, at the North Water Tower Park in Sarasota from 5 to 8 p.m. All right, John is back here to help us celebrate a big day at ABC 7 for one of our very own, right?
Absolutely. This is a really cool thing. One of the longest lived residents here in the ABC halls, Wendy Ross, celebrating 40 years in the business. How about that? She started her career before Scarthinus over here on October 4th, 1976 with the station when she was only 6 years old. It was then known as WXLT. It was Channel 40, and she joined the crew of the 6 and 11.
Yeah, 3 years later, she moved to the Tampa market. She stayed there for about 20 years before returning back to her roots here at ABC 7. Really happy she did that. And you can now, of course, see her on the weekends at 6:30 and 11 o'clock newscasts. Our congratulations to Wendy as she sits there with the old team. I don't know if you remember that. It's Ron Jackson on sports and Bob Keene, who's doing the news. Bob was still here when I started in 1985. That was our old newsroom there where the set was. And, you know, when I was in high school, John, at Riverview High, I saw Wendy one time down on the sideline, and I waved, and I said, "Wendy, Wendy," and she turned around and waved right back to me. And I never forgot that, and now the chance to get to work with her all these years has been awesome.
People probably can gather this by seeing her on air, but she is absolutely one of the nicest, kindest, most charming ladies you'll ever want to meet. Absolutely proud to call her a friend. It's great.
40 years. That's
40 years. Congratulations.
All right, time now to get over to the kitchen. We have a guest bartender with us today, lead bartender Candace Rubel from the Jack Dusty at the Ritz-Carlton. Candace, great to have you with us today. What's on the drink menu for today?
Thank you very much. It's very happy to be here. Today we're going to be featuring one of the Jack Dusty new fall cocktails. So we are going to be doing the Jack's Apple Licks, which is going to be perfect time for the new fall season. Look forward to making it for you.
Yeah, we can't wait to see how it comes together. Thank you, Candace. We'll be right back with you in a little bit.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Replacing your windows will not just beautify your home, but save you big bucks on your energy bills. I've done the research. I've seen the factory. New South Window is my hands-down choice.
New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
It's time to upgrade your favorite news app. Now, ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a dynamic brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Stay connected anytime, anywhere with breaking news and weather alerts, video on demand, and live streaming of your Suncoast News. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store. ABC7's all-new My Suncoast News app. Just another way we're here for you. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life. ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5. Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Got a mix of sun and clouds out there. Certainly enough sun to start boosting our temperature to 86 degrees. That's not quite as warm as it was 24 hours ago at this hour. Dew point is at 73, plenty thick enough, and an east wind blows at about 7. The good news is that east wind will probably be with us right straight through any impact that we receive from Matthew. And I say that's probably good news because it'll be an offshore wind, so I don't think we're going to have too much in the way of any flooding problems around here. In fact, it may benefit us in terms of our red tide issues. 85 Wauchula, Arcadia, Myakka, Parrish, Bradenton, and Punta Gorda. We've got 86 degrees at Northport and in Venice, and Inglewood comes in at 85. As does Longboat Key, and of course, Sarasota coming in at 86 degrees. There's our trough of low pressure helping to still excite some showers off the eastern seaboard, plus a few here along the northern Gulf waters and down the coastline as well. Like yesterday, I think we're going to see a lot of the area over land, which right now is not seeing showers, kind of fill up with showers and thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon. A lot of the motion will be from east to west, riding on that easterly wind flow. And it is the potential, once again today, to get some pretty heavy rainfall like we saw yesterday. Some places saw 5-inch rainfalls down around Northport and Venice, and there were some pretty good 1-inch rainfalls north of that. So I think we have a chance of seeing that again. A lot of our area rivers are under flood advisories already because of the heavy rain that we've had over the last 4 days in most locations. There's our trough of low pressure, high pressure to the north, a low back to the west, plus a higher high than expected. That is one of the reasons that the high pressure ridge is pushing, nudging, if you will, Matthew, a little closer to the state of Florida in the forecasts. There was an abrupt shift in the cone yesterday at 5 o'clock as some of the computer models pushed it a little bit closer to Florida. And that's why we have the watches up for hurricane and tropical storm. However, this system will probably stay out in open waters. Now, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Let me show you the forecast track in just a second. We expect several days of afternoon rains, nothing to do with Matthew. Then it will become on Thursday very breezy around here. That does have something to do with Matthew. And we'll be watching Matthew closely because, of course, any motion closer to the state of Florida would impact us. Currently, I'm going with a forecast that keeps Matthew far enough away from us that it basically kind of dries us out a little bit on Thursday, Friday, and certainly the weekend. Now, that could change dramatically if it gets a little bit closer to us. We'll get a lot more of those rain bands moving through, like they will certainly on the other coast. It's also possible that even though we do stay a little bit drier on those 2 days, we get an isolated shower or thunderstorm through our region as a spinoff from the system. So taking a look at it, our tropical tracker, of course, showing Nicole, one system that is just going to meander out here because of the high pressure ridge that I just showed you to the north, not letting it continue to move, but it will weaken. Our system, Matthew, leaves Cuba, moves out into the Atlantic waters, and all computer models suggest a motion that will be paralleling the Florida coast. It's worse than that. It then starts to turn and parallel the entire United States coast all the way up toward New York. All the computer models kind of agree with that. So most of the heavy winds stay offshore, but the battering wave action all along the eastern seaboard could be pretty bad, and there is the potential for some serious flooding in many locations from Jacksonville all the way up the coast. Well, actually, from south of that, from 7 Mile Bridge, all the way up the coast to New York City. Depends on the track and the intensity of the storm as it emerges. Hurricane Matthew now with 145-mile-an-hour winds on a forecast track that, as I mentioned, takes it pretty close to the southern tip of the state by Thursday at 8 a.m., takes it north of that by Friday at 8 a.m., so that's the time period in which it makes its closest pass by us. Maybe into Friday afternoon, we'll still suffer some of those winds. Wind speeds are up there, and then it moves on. The forecast for wind speeds keeps the heaviest of winds offshore, but certainly we would have to deal, I think, with some breezes around here. As far as the impacts of the storm on us, we're going to cover that in detail in the next half hour. Northeast wind at about 10 knots, becoming northeast at 10 to 15 this evening. And the official Suncoast forecast shows a couple of wet days, then drying out a little bit, and the weekend looks like it'll be nice so far. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In health news today, if you know someone living in Maine, tell them to lay off the clams and mussels. The state's Department of Marine Resources are recalling that seafood after some tested positive for a deadly neurotoxin. That toxin occurs naturally in the ocean. It doesn't hurt fish, but it can harm humans. The affected clams and mussels were harvested or wet stored last week. This is reportedly the first recall of its kind in Maine. So far, there are no reports of anyone getting sick. Middle-aged women who remove their ovaries are most likely to speed up their menopause. According to a study by the Mayo Clinic researchers, women under the age of 46 who had both ovaries removed experienced a high increase in aging. Their risk for other conditions such as coronary artery disease, depression, and arthritis also went up. Most women over 40 remove their ovaries in an operation called a hysterectomy in an effort to prevent ovarian cancer. According to the CDC, more than 21,000 women were diagnosed with that cancer in 2013, and more than 14,000 have died from it. Well, lots of homework and early morning hours are not the only things that can aggravate our kids in the classroom. Studies have shown kids with allergies and asthma have a harder time concentrating than they do at home. Classrooms contain pollen, mold, and dust mites, things that can easily trigger symptoms. And students who have pets at home are also potential triggers because they may carry their pet's dander to school, causing children who sit nearby to experience some allergy symptoms. There are also classroom pets.
That can actually worsen asthma, it can worsen allergies. So in that situation, you'd want to find a way to separate them. So either the pet's outside or your child in another classroom.
If you have a child that's highly allergic, doctors recommend talking to the school about keeping windows closed when pollen counts are high and asking about the installation of high-efficiency air filters in the air conditioning system. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a historic drop for the UK economy, how the British pound now compares to the US dollar. But first, a beloved Sarasota YMCA branch is closing its doors, and now members have to decide if they want to go to a new location with better amenities. That's next in Donnie Be Fit.
Hurricane season is here, and Suncoast weather can go from this to this in seconds. So when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We're armed with the most advanced weather technology so that we can bring you storm warnings faster and with more detail than ever before.
Plus, we focus on the Suncoast and track storms right down to your neighborhood.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Turn to the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you. ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Types of timber, cuts of meat, cooking times, temperatures, rubs, seasonings, sauces. You name it, they know it. That's what makes them who they are, Sonny's Pitmasters. And proud of it. Come get some baby back ribs at Sonny's Barbecue. On their own or paired with favorites like jalapeno cheddar hot links or pulled or sliced pork plus 2 sides and bread. Sonny's Barbecue. Local Pitmasters since '68.
Get to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today for deals worth celebrating during the Jeep Celebration event. Come shop the area's largest selection of Jeep Wranglers or check out a new Jeep Cherokee priced as low as $19,999. Stop by to see the stylish new Jeep Renegade starting at just $17,699. Or drive away in a new Jeep Patriot for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
There were 3 YMCA facilities in the Sarasota Y Circle until this week. As ABC7's Don Brennan shows us in today's Donnie Be Fit, one branch is being swallowed up by the other 2. Don?
Scott, it was the smallest of the 3, but it was popular because of its central location right in downtown Sarasota on Main Street. This Friday, October 7th, is the final day of existence for the Babe Weiler branch of the Sarasota YMCA, which is located in the Main Street Plaza.
With new owners of the building, we did try to work out some new pricing. We also knew that we needed to do some renovations because it is a little bit outdated and needed some updating. It just, in the long run, was not a good business decision to continue to operate there.
It was the smallest of the 3 Sarasota Ys, but it was popular because you could walk there on your lunch break if you worked in downtown, and it's the most intimate setting.
It's sad because, you know, we've kind of gotten really close and there's a lot of great people that go here.
I'm shocked. I didn't find out until yesterday, and I mean, this has been my home every Saturday for so long, and I just love it here.
The refurbished Frank Berlin branch on Euclid Avenue at the corner of Bay Vista will absorb the members from the closing Y if those members choose to accept it.
They can go directly to the Frank G. Berlin branch and let the front desk there know that they want to move their membership. And we are offering a 50% discount for the first 3 months of that membership transfer.
As the CEO, Gilbert has been working diligently with her staff for the redistribution of members, equipment, classes, and logistics. She feels that if the Main Street Gang will give the merger a chance, they'll be pleasantly surprised.
We know that there have been some unhappy people that have expressed disappointment and sadness with the branch closing. We've been able to move 5 of the Group X instructors, as well as a number of the classes, 22 classes a week have been moved. So we hope that because of those things, that people will at least want to try it out. We hope that they'll give it a chance.
The CEO, Laura Gilbert, also told me they are trying to do everything they can to accommodate everybody. They can't please everyone, but they are trying, and they also are going to continue to look downtown in that area for space that makes sense business-wise. Right. Obviously, they have to be able to afford it, so they can accommodate members. If that were the case, they'd find a place and open right back up again.
Okay. Keep track of it. Thank you, Don. Let's get back to the kitchen now. John is with our guest bartender for the day, Candace Rubel from Jack Dusty at the Ritz-Carlton. Hey, guys.
Hi, indeed. Candace, welcome. You've never been here before.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have you here.
Great to be here.
My wife and I have on many occasions enjoyed your beverages over at Jack Dusty, so it's been a good time. And you're going to attempt to have me kind of create a cocktail here,
Absolutely.
right?
I have all the faith.
All right, well, that's what it's going to take, a lot of faith. Show me what you're making here.
So today we're going to be featuring the Jack's Apple Elix, which is going to be a perfect new fall concoction that we have coming up. Definitely enlivening the senses with apple and lavender, vanilla.
Kind of a fall thing.
Absolutely.
All right,
100%.
great.
So you're going to follow my lead, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
So we're going to do an egg white cocktail. So in building an egg white cocktail, you want to start with the egg white first.
Okay.
Just the whites.
What do I do with the stuff inside?
So you're going to crack the egg, and then you're going to roll the yolk
I'm
back
pretty good
and forth.
at this. I've done a few of that. I've made a few omelets in my day.
There you go.
All right. Now I've got some extra here. What do I do with that?
We're going to toss that to the side.
Here. I don't know what's in here, but can we use this?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Then next we're going to start with the brightness and citrus from acid. So we're going to use fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Okay.
We're going to do about 3/4 ounce of that.
3/4 ounce. All right, I'll just take this off your hand. You go on to the next ingredient.
All right. I like the way he flows, you know. So then the next we're going to do is going to be the apple cider. We'll do 1 ounce of that.
This is a non-alcoholic apple cider?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
It's good? What do you think, Scott? Did I have that down?
And then the next is going to be a house-made lavender vanilla syrup, which really is kind of what sets this cocktail off.
Lavender vanilla syrup. Ooh, that sounds delicious.
So 1 ounce of that.
Put that in your bubble bath. That sounds great. Okay.
Smell it. It's
I
delicious.
don't know. I have a feeling yours is going to taste better than mine.
The next is going to be Laird's Applejack Brandy, which is like one of the oldest distilled spirits that we have in the United States.
Applejack goes way back.
And it does.
Back to the colonial days.
So, indeed. So 1/2 ounce of that.
All right.
Or more. And then, and then the next we're going to do is the Absolute Elix, which is at the core of this cocktail, which is really great, especially when we're talking about Hurricane Matthew right now, is Absolute Elix is a small batch handcrafted vodka that sources everything within a 15-mile radius from seed to bottle. And for every bottle that's sold, they're actually partnered with People for Water. So it provides a week's worth of supply of water.
Oh, how
to those in need.
fantastic.
So
Where are they located?
They are actually out of Sweden.
Oh, my goodness. Well, good for them. They're a conscious company, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I pour a little of this in here, right?
2 ounces of the Elix, yes. So this is where it gets tricky. We're gonna shake this with
is
no
the part
ice.
I like,
You gotta
actually.
make sure you keep your hand on the back.
Yeah, that's probably a
And
good
we're gonna
idea.
whip the egg white.
Now, what am I doing here?
You're whipping the egg white.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be a frothy drink.
Absolutely. So the egg white is actually.
Oh, I'm making a mess. You're making a mess.
The egg white is going to act as a binding agent for both the acid and the spirit.
Okay. All right. I'm done.
Now we're going to add ice.
I'm
and
all.
shake again.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Here you go. Can I give you some over
give you
here?
an easier one, right?
Is that too much?
That's
is that
perfect.
good? Yeah.
I'm going to go about 3/4 of the way.
Okay. We have about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
And you also have some nice, looks like some nice charcuteries and cheese, though. Are those also offered in the restaurant?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would this go good with that? I bet it would, right? Okay, that's all I got.
All right. So to finish it off.
I can't get mine undone. What? All right, never mind. You go ahead.
Welcome to my world.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh.
So a nice frothy cocktail, and on top, we'll add a little bit of the aromatic bitters. Because it is an egg white cocktail, so as the egg white kind of comes up to room temperature, you want to make sure you have an aromatic proponent on top.
Look how pretty you're doing that. Now, before we go, I just want to remind everybody this is available at Jack Dusty. This is on the bar menu now.
It is. It's coming up for fall, so it's called the Jack's Apple Elix.
Awesome. Sounds great. And when we come back, I will have sampled some.
Cheers.
Let's go to break. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank
you did
you.
a great job.
Thanks.
Game on, Suncoast. Get scores and highlights from the area's top high school matchups on Football Friday night, just after the news at 11:15. Sponsored by Gulf Coast Honda.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Manasota Flooring.
And for a limited time, Manasota Flooring is offering you unbelievable pricing on tile and laminate. Porcelain tile only $1.59. Ceramic tile 99 cents. And 16 by 16 tile $1.19. Laminate flooring is only 99 cents. But these prices won't last. Don't miss out on these great deals. Hurry into Manasota Flooring today.
Gold fever has once again swept the nation. And everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. Introducing the $5 million Gold Rush Doubler. We're doubling cash prizes for over $752 million in payouts. And 36 prizes from $1 million to $5 million. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Our top story this hour, Hurricane Matthew roaring northward now while still delivering a devastating blow to Haiti. This powerful storm is the strongest to hit Haiti in decades, and now the east coast of the U.S. is bracing for its impact later this week. ABC's Elizabeth Herr has the latest.
Hurricane Matthew making landfall this morning in Haiti. The monster storm, now the strongest hurricane for this region since 1963, is already being blamed for taking at least 4 lives across the Caribbean.
We've already seen deaths, people who are out at sea. There are people who are missing. There are people who didn't respect the alerts. They've lost their lives.
With winds reaching 145 miles per hour, powerful enough to wipe out parts of Haiti. Jamaica spared a devastating blow, but the storm still dumped more than a foot of rain in some areas. ABC's Gio Benitez is there.
We're not entirely out of the woods just yet. The clouds you're seeing behind me are from the edges of Hurricane Matthew. But you know what? Jamaicans are looking at this with guarded optimism.
Meanwhile, in Cuba, the forecast is calling for up to 40 inches of rain possible in parts of the island, enough to wash away entire villages. So Cubans are keeping busy boarding up buildings and filling sandbags. Preparations also underway here in the U.S. with a Category 4 hurricane on the move, now tracking west, threatening the East Coast by the end of the week.
If Matthew directly impacts Florida, the destruction could be catastrophic, and it could be deadly. We are preparing for the worst and hoping for the best.
A hurricane watch is now in effect across parts of Florida, with states of emergency already declared in Florida and North Carolina. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
And here at home, preparations are underway at Sarasota County's Emergency Operations Center for any potential effects of Hurricane Matthew. ABC 7's Rebecca Vargas joins us now with what residents need to know. Rebecca.
Well, Scott, be prepared. That's the key. And if you're not already, the next few days are when you want to get a kit together. Sarasota County Emergency Management is urging residents to have a hurricane kit, including a battery-operated flashlight, batteries, and food and water. Today, the chief will be speaking to the State of Florida Operations Center and the National Hurricane Center in several conference calls to discuss response. If there is a threat to the Suncoast, the Emergency Operations Center will send notice and direction to residents 72 hours in advance of landfall. The county has 21 shelters within the community.
Is the school in my neighborhood my shelter? Not necessarily. Based on what storm effects we're going to get, based on what we're expecting as far as storm tide and things like that, we would decide what shelters to open. We also coordinate that very closely with the Sarasota County School District. There may be a school that we want to use that may be undergoing some remodeling, so it's not a good idea. They know which schools are the best to use. So between the factors of the storm and the school's recommendation, we would select those shelters.
Now, a list of those shelters, important contact numbers, and everything you need to know about being prepared for a storm is available on the county's website. You can visit mysuncoast.com to be directed to that disaster planning guide. Scott and John, back to you.
All right, Rebecca, thank you so much. And of course, the National Hurricane Center issuing some watches for the state, too, this morning.
Both hurricane and tropical storm for the East Coast and for the Florida Keys. We are not included in those watches, though it could get kind of breezy around there. And by the way, Ed McCray mentioned an interesting thing there that Rebecca covered nicely. That is that the shelters open up based on storm surge inundation, not on wind speeds. So if your structure is not built to withstand hurricane force winds, then you might not be included in the evacuation order, but you might not also be safe to stay at home. So that's something everybody should know, is just how storm worthy is your home. Not that we're going to have to deal with any of that. But it's a good exercise for us to know exactly what we have in terms of our home and sheltering in place and having our hurricane kit together, because we still got some time left in hurricane season.
October typically can be pretty busy for Florida.
And it's been a busy season thus far. I mean, we're up to in already. Let's take a look at where the watches and warnings have been issued, though, for the state of Florida, and they are on the other coast. They also include Lake Okeechobee. That is the location, particularly in that violet cover, where the winds will likely be strongest. That's the hurricane watch zone. And our area so far not included in any of those, though it's certainly possible that some inland counties a little bit later on might see an inland wind watch. We'll probably also see some small craft advisories hoisted as well as the system continues to lift north. A nice eye wall still visible on satellite imagery. I guess you could call it nice. It was just tragic to see that pass over Haiti. Now on its way toward the very easternmost tip of Cuba, and then reemerging, forecast to reemerge into the Bahamas, where it could possibly even strengthen a little bit more as it scoots up the coast of Florida. We're not looking at too much in the way of any rain showers currently, though we think that'll change as we head into the afternoon. In fact, I'm sure it will. We'll look for about a 60% chance of rainfall later in the day, with a daytime high around the 90-degree mark. Scott will talk about the effects of Matthew on our weather, at least what we think it might be at this point, coming up in just a few. Scott.
Okay, John, thank you. The British pound is not as valuable as it used to be. It's fallen 0.5%. That's the lowest level against the U.S. dollar since 1985. Investors have been selling the currency since a speech on Sunday by the Prime Minister, who says the government plans to start the process of leaving the EU by the end of next March. The last time the pound was at this level, a gallon of gas in the U.S. was just $1.20. Here at home, Vice President Joe Biden is calling out Donald Trump for remarks he made about soldiers and PTSD. In a recent speech, Trump suggested soldiers who suffer from mental health issues might not be as strong as those who don't. Biden responding to those comments in an interview with CNN, saying Trump is not a bad man, but he can be out of touch with reality. Biden says he has his staff call the Defense Department every morning to see how many troops are injured and wounded.
6,753 deaths, not 50, 53. It's 52,419 wounded. And the number of people coming home with unseen injuries, post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, is significantly higher. What's this say about a guy who doesn't have any notion of that?
Biden campaigned in Sarasota yesterday. Meantime, Hillary Clinton is campaigning in the Philadelphia suburbs today with her daughter Chelsea Clinton and actress Elizabeth Banks. Her campaign says they're looking to deny Trump in Pennsylvania, which has supported a Democratic presidential nominee in every election since 1988. Also beginning today, millions of vote-by-mail ballots will be sent out to voters across the state. So far, more than 1 million Republicans and about 900,000 Democrats have requested those ballots for the upcoming general election. Another 450,000 Floridians affiliated with minor party or no party have also asked for those ballots. Overall, 2.4 million ballots will be sent out. The deadline to register to vote for the upcoming election is next Tuesday, October 11th. It's a showdown in court today between Apple and Samsung. Apple is asking the Supreme Court to uphold a jury's award for damages against Samsung. Back in 2012, a jury trial found Samsung had infringed on 6 different Apple patents and awarded Apple $1 billion in damages. That award was later reduced to $548 million in 2015 by an appeals court. Samsung is now questioning whether it has to pay that full amount of $548 million. The Supreme Court has agreed to review that case. Several complaints about clown threats have been showing up on social media recently, and one school district says they're not taking any chances. A school district in Connecticut is banning clown costumes during this year's Halloween season. Posts of menacing-looking clowns with captions telling schools to watch out have been found on social media. No schools have been targeted here on the Suncoast, but schools in Palm Beach County on the East Coast have received some threats. Other clown incidents have taken place in Louisiana, Oregon, Texas, and even Canada. 2 teens were recently arrested in Philadelphia for making those clown threats.
Not something that's a laughing matter. It's not a game. In terms of the manpower that we're using with all of our resources, is very serious.
Police are investigating whether the alleged threats are fake. Again, there are no active threats here on the Suncoast. When we come back, John will have another look at our weather, and it's 90 years of quality education. The Sarasota County School that's celebrating that big milestone in our community. That's next in a place we call home.
Mom needed more care than we could provide, so we called Granny Nannies. She now has around-the-clock caregivers, and we have peace of mind. Thanks to them, she's where she belongs, at home.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Hello, I'm Whitney Stewart, the current National Boys and Girls Club's Youth of the Year.
And I'm Haley Wilkes, news anchor for ABC7. Please join us for the Women in a Changing World panel discussion. You will hear from a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, senior vice presidents from Disney and Tupperware, a New York Times senior writer, and an Alaskan Native poet.
For more information, please visit womeninaChangingWorld.com.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And right now, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet. A new 2016 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month, complimentary maintenance included. At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
At Granny Nannies, we provide your loved ones with the care they deserve, compassionate and experienced help right where you need it most, at home. Visit us at GrannyNannies.com.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Currently, air temperatures are warm and coming in at 86 degrees with a dew point sticky enough at 73. We have an east wind that has already kicked off a few scattered areas of light showers in inland areas. Show you those on radar. 86 Wauchula, Arcadia, Myakka, Parrish, Bradenton, Northport, a little warmer right along the coast in places, 88 in Venice, 86 in Inglewood, 87 Lakewood Ranch. East wind kind of keeping everything fairly uniform in terms of our temperatures. So these lines of showers that you see kind of traced out here along the coastline are part of a trough of low pressure, helping to unsettle our atmosphere. And with a little daytime heating, with some leftover boundaries from yesterday's action, we have a few scattered showers trying to build. Most of the area, though, pretty quiet at this hour. Later in the afternoon, we'll see a few more storms build. Just light rain right now. Hardee and DeSoto counties, just not very heavy at all. But the general motion is toward the west, coming in from the east, riding on those steering current winds. And I think today we'll see the same general storm motion, though it'll be slow moving. There's our trough of low pressure, a high pressure ridge kind of pushing up on Matthew, lifting it to the north, gradually drifting it closer to the state of Florida. This is not a current radar, by the way. This is a forecast map of where we think this storm will probably be, probably by about tomorrow morning or so. Or Thursday morning or so. So we expect several days of rainfall, not associated with Matthew, but just because the air is so filled with tropical moisture. Then on Thursday into Friday, it starts to become a little breezy around here, darn right windy over on the other coast, as Matthew perhaps gains a little more intensity and then rides the wave right up the eastern seaboard. Watch Matthew's forecast track, still listed as a Category 4 storm with 145-mile-an-hour winds and its eye on Cuba. It lifts north into the Bahamas by Thursday, and then between Thursday and Friday makes its closest pass by the United States. And then look at there, just rides right up the east coast of the United States with possibly a landfall in the Carolinas. You know, it's too hard to say yet. We are not in the cone here on the Suncoast, but these are the effects that I think we might see. And again, it's kind of early to do this, but I'll go ahead and do it now with the caveat that we're going to have to adjust this as we get closer to the moment and we start to see little changes in the position and intensity of the hurricane in the Atlantic. The biggest impact, I think, is going to be on our seas. We're going to have sustained winds out on open waters of maybe 20 knots. That's going to give us 6 to 8 foot seas out there. So small craft advisories Thursday and Friday will likely fly. We'll see some 15 to 20 mile per hour winds sustained, which is breezy bordering on windy by most people's estimation. But we could have some gusts even higher than that, 35-mile-an-hour gusts without thunderstorm involvement. If we get any thunderstorms passing through, we could, of course, see those wind speeds much higher. That could possibly bring down a tree branch or so and maybe lead to some isolated power outages, possibly. We'll watch Matthew on the track that it's forecast now, perhaps dry us out a little bit, believe it or not. Look at the forecast through Wednesday, and you can see that we don't get a lot of rain near the coastline. Now, I think this pattern will probably carry on Thursday and Friday. That said, we're not going to be without rain, I don't think. I think some of the storms will be slung back from some of the outer bands. Now, if it gets a little closer, if it gets a little stronger, we'll probably see a lot more rainfall. And I'll have to abandon that aspect of my forecast. Also, it may aid in our red tide. If the winds become stronger, become consistently offshore, and the wave action becomes a little higher, you know, it may break up some of those patches of red tide out there. So we'll see. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't, but it has in past, in history, some of the winds and choppy sea conditions have proven to do that. Northeast wind at about 10 knots, becoming northeast at 10 to 15. Boating conditions deteriorating on Thursday. Forecast looks like this. Right now, we'll go with a clearing sky on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It all depends on the storm. And like I have always said, with this storm and every other, don't turn your back on the storm till it's north of North Carolina. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. In this week's edition of A Place We Call Home, students at one Sarasota elementary school are celebrating the rich history of their campus. ABC 7's Linda Carson has a story.
Bayhaven Elementary School students are celebrating their school's 90th anniversary by dancing the Charleston, the most popular dance back when the school was founded, and singing the school's alma mater. Principal Chad Erickson says Bayhaven was built during the boom years following World War I by architect Leo Elliott.
He built our schools based on the Roaring 20s population boom in Southwest Florida, and we needed a North Side school and a South Side school, and Bay Haven is the North Side school.
It was built for 600 students at a cost of $77,000.
The first 6 years of Bay Haven's history, the Great Depression hit Southwest Florida as it did the United States, completely decimated the economy.
In 1933, Sarasota Public Schools closed due to lack of funds, but Bay Haven stayed open.
The PTO organization at Bay Haven was so strong, they had enough parent volunteers and enough fundraising to keep the school open during the Great Depression.
Because the parents pitched in.
They worked in the kitchen, they solicited money from neighbors, they tried to have parents bring in tuition money.
Bay Haven has had a number of firsts in Sarasota's history.
Starting the first kindergarten in Sarasota County, we're the first school that was desegregated in Sarasota County.
And they had the first in-school library. Bay Haven is a magnet school.
We require our parents, teachers, and students to sign a contract saying that we'll be engaged, saying we'll make good behavioral choices, and saying that we'll try our best academically each and every day.
Students and staff say Bay Haven is like their second family.
Everybody's like so nice to each other, and they're like act like they are your family.
And they're thrilled to celebrate 90 years of serving Sarasota County students.
90 years is so long. I think a long time ago, I'm not 100% sure, but I think my great-grandma went here, and it was she said it was really nice coming here, and I think it was probably really nice. And I just love the school, and I'm so excited about 90 years.
Happy birthday, Bay Haven. Congratulations on 90 years of teaching Sarasota youngsters reading, writing, and arithmetic, and also responsibility and respect. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Linda, thank you so much. We'll be right back with more.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Looking to bring more nature into your life? I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we talked to Beneva Flowers about how to get more plants both at work and at home that work for you. We chat with Open Arms about an important issue affecting surrogacy for those looking to conceive. Plus, makeup artist Mickey Williams is back, and we celebrate Taco Tuesday. Baja's Boys Grill will join us in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Don Brennan. With flu season approaching, are there people who should hold off on getting the flu shot?
Tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, we'll show you who should wait longer than the CDC recommends to get a shot. John?
As Matthew moves into the Bahamas, we closely monitor its track. We'll have the updates for you bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. It's time to upgrade your favorite news app. Now, ABC 7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a dynamic brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Stay connected with new features that make it easy to submit photos, share stories on Facebook and Twitter, and save stories for reading at a later time. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store. ABC 7's all-new My Suncoast News app. Just another way we're here for you. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
I'm Ray Collins. Wastewater in Siesta Grand Canal, more than 3 million gallons released so far, and residents say they want answers.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC 7. We're here for you.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Finally, if you ever wondered what to do with all that spare change, well, here's an example. A man in North Carolina has completely covered his 2000 Chevy Blazer in pennies. He says the hood is so heavy you have to prop it open, and if you slam the door too hard, it could just come off. It took him 7 weeks, 6 to 7 hours a day, 80 tubes of silicone glue, and 3 gallons of fiberglass to accomplish this feat. Overall, there are 51,300 pennies on it. He doesn't have a reason why he did it, but he says the truck definitely draws some attention.
Now, technically, is that legal to do that with currency? I don't know. So, 3 things we're going to be watching in the days ahead. We're going to be watching the condition of Matthew as it emerges from the Cuban coastline. We're going to be watching whether it strengthens or not in the Bahamas over the course of tomorrow. And, of course, we're going to be watching the track as it gets close to Florida.
Absolutely. And the latest advisory comes at 5 o'clock. We hope you'll join us then. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.